Hey, welcome to Nollywood Radio France. I'm going to be your host for today. My name is Queen, and I have with me a very special guest, the one and only Ikechukwu Onyeka. Welcome, Ikechukwu.
Yeah, thank you, Queen.
Very nice to have the opportunity to talk to you. Before we dive into the question, I just want to ask you to just tell us a little bit about why you were in the United States recently and how was your trip back home?
I came to the States to handle a project for Remi Momodu. It's a story on domestic violence. You know, it's almost like the domestic violence issue has been overflowed, but sometimes you meet stories that catch your fancy, and then you think you can actually make a different statement out of it. So that's why I was in the States, and then we shot the movie. It went on well, and I'm back in Lagos.
Quite interesting. I think everybody would love to watch that movie because most of the time this abuse thing with women and men is kept silent. So, yeah, very well done. We'll look forward to that. Do you know when that is coming out, the movie and everything about it?
I'm not too sure about the timeline because we just delved into post-production. It's going to take us a while because we are looking at getting the best out of it. So cutting the pictures, laying the sound, color grading, and all those stuff that come with post-production must be in place. So we're looking maybe in another 3 months or 4, thereabout. Might be less, it's possible.
Awesome.
But definitely, Ziza, that's the title. It's a piece I'd like everybody to watch out for.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to watch that. And I'm sure our audience are listening and they're so excited to watch it. And we'll talk more about the movie maybe as time goes on. Before that 3 months, I would still like to have the opportunity to have you on air just to tell us how and when and where our audience will be able to go watch this.
I'll count that a privilege.
Awesome. My next question to you is, I've read about your biography, and I know it's very, very extensive. But in few sentences, could you please tell us, about it, like summarize it and highlighting the movies that you've directed and produced and, how you came about all of this directing and producing movies?
I think I keep calling God each time I want to talk about myself. God has been very faithful. I am one of those directors who never thought they will ever be a director because prior to my coming into the movie industry, I hadn't met, who saw, who makes movie. So it wasn't like the stories you hear on that, this has been my passion and all that. I never had passion for film. But somehow I stumbled into film, and then I thought this is something I'd like to do. And then God gave me that grace. I continued, grew through the ranks until we got to where we are today. So it's been a story that is saddled with humility, a story that is saddled with the grace of God, a story that is saddled with the hand of God. So for me, I think my story is just as short as I keep it. There's so much to talk about concerning my advent into the movie industry, how I started, the first movie I shot and all that. I think the first movie I shot was The Twist. I had Two-Face Idibia, I had Making Your Child Caroline Ekanem. Then after that, I went on to shoot Unforeseen, a movie that has Inedo playing a tripartite character. Then after that, I went on to shoot Ego's Bride. Now, the good thing about my beginning is that from the onset, I had eyes for good story. I had that intention of making good films. So it now appears that virtually all the movies I made in the beginning were all blockbusters, and that put my name in the slate instantly.
Interesting. You spoke about humility and good movies, but I would like to ask you just a little question about how do you keep humble in this wild world of characters that are unpredictable? How do you keep calm?
I think it still boils down on what God has placed upon the man. My favorite quote has always been that on creation all men are equal, but when a man finds favor before God, he stands out. Now, each time I want to remember who I am today, I first remember who I was. And that keeps me humble, and it's been my way. I've never lived a day without remembering who I was. And that humbles me a lot. That shows me that I have never done anything to move myself forward. God has always been there.
Wow.
I have never done anything that any other person across the street cannot do. It is just that I have found favor before God. I have not said anything that any man across the road cannot say. It is just that I have found favor before God. So everything I do stands out because God touches them. So with that at the back of my mind on a daily basis, I have no reason whatsoever not to be humble.
In a recent article that was published by nigerianfilms.com, and I'm going to just pardon me to read this out, quote, you are on their headline as follows. Top Nollywood director Ikechukwu Onyeka declares Genevieve Nananji is the only certified star in Nollywood. Others are popular faces. What do you mean by that?
Well, first, I'll quickly say that I was quoted out of context in that piece. I never said Genevieve is the only certified star.
Okay.
I recall that interview was held in New York, and the reporter asked me who is my favorite star.
Okay.
And I said Genevieve. And then I explained to him why I said Genevieve. As at then, I hadn't worked with some of the stars that I see today, but I had worked with Genevieve and I had worked with a whole number of other stars. And I discovered that Genevieve is the only star I worked with at that time. It still remains a personal opinion.
Okay.
At that time, she was the only star I worked with that was punctual. If you tell her to come out by 7 a.m., Genevieve is there. She, at that time, was the only star I worked with that you give a script, she reads the script inside out, points out areas she disagrees with. You, the director, and her, will iron it out before you get on set. So you don't get on set and start to argue about a particular plot which doesn't go down well with her. Other people I've worked with, most of them, not all, and again, it's a personal opinion. Others might not have time to even read the script. So they come on set and start arguing certain factors with you concerning the script. Some will read it and not bring their concerns to your attention. And then they get on set and begin to have long arguments concerning the script. So it was based on this analogy that I said Genevieve was my favorite. I never say she's the only. That would be an insult to the array of stars that are done Nollywood.
I thought so too. That's why I wanted you to clarify that. So
yeah, I wouldn't. These writers, they ask you one thing, you say the other, and then they try to make it look good. A whole lot of people fell out with me on it. Though I really don't care because it remains a personal opinion. It is like somebody coming up and saying the only director he recognizes in Nollywood, and then he mentions one director without mentioning me. I am not going to feel bad about that. It's the person's opinion. As far as I'm concerned, I know I'm a movie director. That you don't accept it really doesn't count. So if anybody thinks he or she is a star and someone makes this statement, it shouldn't bother you. That's the way I think.
I guess in everything I've heard you say, what you're saying is, according to your own personal opinion, one of the qualities of stardom is being punctual.
Well, yes and no. Now, let's even define star.
Okay.
Star is one who is good at what he does.
Okay.
Especially when it's sports, movies, music.
Agreed.
That's it. It means you are good at what you do, and then you are popular, and then you have followership.
Okay.
You're a star. If, for instance, you are an armed robber and you're good at robbery, and people like robbery, you are a star.
In robbery.
Yes. So let's not.
That's interesting.
You're laughing, but that's the truth.
That is really the truth. As long as you have follow and you are good at what you're doing, then you're a star.
You're a star.
Okay.
Now there are people that are popular, but they don't have followership.
Okay.
So you don't call such people stars.
Okay.
That's my argument. Not somebody does 200 films. People know you. Do you have followership? Do you have fans?
Okay.
That's when you become a star.
Very, very interesting point. And I hope our listeners that wants to become a star are listening so they can find followers to follow them in what they're doing.
Yeah, like in Nollywood, I know a lot of actors that have been in so many movies, but they've not been able to cut into that stardom route. Not because they are not good, but maybe, just maybe, they've not hit that mark of having followership, of, leaving a mark in the industry, like some of these people have done that we call stars.
Okay.
Everybody now talks about star actor, award winning. Even those that have not been nominated, everybody's award winning. I don't care. The point is, these things don't come on a platter of gold. They are earned.
It takes hard work. Yes.
They are earned.
I agree with that.
Some might not work too hard, but they earn it. Some might work too hard, but the point is you have to earn it.
Wow. If I understand you clearly and I'm hearing you clearly, it looks like you are one of these directors that are having the dream. No, let me not say a dream. I mean, you're one of these directors that is trying your possible best to take Nollywood to a different level, especially in the diaspora. When I say diaspora, I mean North America, especially. What do you see as a challenge to be able to make Nollywood what it's supposed to be in the diaspora? I know you guys are very successful back home in Africa, but when you talk of, North America, Nollywood is still not yet there. What do you see as a challenge?
Now, the biggest undoing of the industry is people not being enlightened. Now, when I say enlightenment, I'm not talking about the four walls of colleges and universities gathering education. I'm talking about enlightenment in our choosing career in this business of film. Now, where the market is as we speak now is the internet.
Okay.
As we speak now, where the market is the internet. Now, we were shooting movies, releasing them in VCD, things were okay, and suddenly the internet came up. People started seeing these movies on the internet, and the physical market dropped. Now, at some point in time, our movies were case study for morality. Mm-hmm. Case study for families to sit together and see a Nigerian movie. That was how our movies became very popular. Everywhere you go in the world, the moment you mention Nollywood, they say, oh, Nigerian films.
Yes.
And then suddenly, we started copying the West. Started shooting nudity. And then we started losing our audience. We started losing families sitting together to watch movies with their kids. We started losing being case study for morality. We started losing our audience gradually until we lost every one of them. What we're doing now is trying to regain our audience, which is usually a more difficult task than gaining them in the first place. So my drive, which is what I fight for every day I live, is for us to regain our status, to regain where we were in the past.
And how do you plan on doing that?
We plan on doing that by making good films.
When you say good films?
Good films.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Now, what I mean is going back to the status quo of films that are message-oriented. Okay. Films that the people can readily identify with. Films that teach you things and not immorality, not repulsive sensual scenes, which to me is really not necessary. Now, it is of my thought that if we have a greater percentage of good filmmakers, we will certainly be able to restore that dignity that we have in the past. Now, part of the things I thought of was making sure every Nigerian director is up to date in terms of the technology that is at play at this point in time in the world of film. Mm-hmm. And part of what I pursued was when I went to the Colorado Film School, I saw what they teach. And I thought that every single Nigerian director should be part of this. And what I did was spoke with the school authority, and they were able to open a 1-month window for film courses for Nigerian directors, specifically for Nigerian directors.
Wow, that's a great achievement. Yeah.
Now, I spoke with the Directors Guild of Nigeria president. He bought the idea and also thought it was a good thing. Then we pushed it onto the federal government of Nigeria, which is one reason why I say this is the only government that has a human face. The government took it upon themselves to sponsor 24 Nigerian directors to go do that 1-month course.
Wow.
And I tell you, as we came back, I could feel the impact of that 24 film directors that went on that course. Now, you can imagine if we now begin to do that, it's called capacity building.
Correct.
You begin to build people in their choosing career, in their professional choosing career, build them to that point where the international community cannot gainsay their work. Then we have started talking. So at this point, that's my dream, making sure we teach as many as are willing to learn the art of good filmmaking. When I came to America to film, I was all out. I was handling camera. I was doing the light. I was part of the lighting team. I was part of the sound. I was everywhere. Not because that's my job, but because it has to be right.
I can attest to that because I was privileged to have worked with you on one of the movies and I saw exactly what you're doing. So yes.
That's it. You have to, because At the end of the day, you do not have any excuse for a bad job.
That's correct.
No excuse whatsoever. There is no excuse for a bad film.
Wow. Okay.
People have done beautiful movies with no budget. So if you tell me you have low budget, that's why your film is bad, then leave filmmaking, get into something else. Import toothpick if you want. And leave filmmaking. It's not for you.
That is a strong advice coming from the heart.
Yes. So that's my dream. An African film community where you have greater percentage of the people understanding the art of filmmaking, actors understanding acting, a business where everybody is serious-minded.
It's a great dream, and I pray that this dream will truly come true for you. I just want to bring your attention back to something you had mentioned earlier, nudity. The world we live in today, it's all about nudity, and that's what is selling. I am pretty sure that our audience would like to know how, if you eliminate that from telling the Nollywood story, our story in Africa, how do you get the Western world to like your movies? Because today, everything, even the adverts you see on TV, it's all about nudity. The pretty description of a beautiful woman today, it's nudity. A handsome guy, it's all about nudity all around us. How do you plan on getting the interest of the outside world to love your story?
Yeah, now, as a filmmaker, you must first understand every filmmaker has a background. Then in that background, you also have a target audience. So there must be a combination. Okay, now, I was trying to say that every filmmaker's film is a function of your background and your target audience. That's how you coil. How you present your story. Because you have a target audience, so you want to do all you can to meet them. Now, it has been said that sex sells.
Mm-hmm.
I have never disputed that.
Okay.
But for me, in filmmaking, there is what you call suggestive.
Okay.
If I want a man and a woman to have sex, permit me, I do not need to show them having sex.
Correct. You imply it.
I imply it. It's called suggestive. I use suggestive shots. You now decide what they are doing. That way, every single person, no matter your age bracket, will be able to see the film. We should also not forget that we are Africans. That's what I keep telling people.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
We have our values. We have our values. And then we look at all these Western worlds that actually has no culture. What they have are laws. Like as far as I'm concerned, America has no culture. What they have are laws. That's why everybody come from anywhere. Do whatever you like. Once you're keeping to the law,
you are okay.
You're fine.
Yes, you're correct. Not to take much of your time any further, and this next question, you've answered it in many ways, but I want you to just use maybe a simple sentence to just, talk about it a little bit more again. If you could change anything, any one thing at all in Nollywood to make it better, what will it be?
Mindset.
Okay.
Mindset, the mindset of the filmmakers. That's what we need to change.
Okay. I hope my audience are taking notes of that.
Yeah. Mindset. Now, for instance, people think, okay, because this guy shot a film on nudity and then he sold, I should do my own also, should also do a movie on nudity. I'm sure it will sell. That's not the mindset of a filmmaker. You have to have your own mindset. You have to have a concept of what you want to present.
Correct.
And that is what has killed the industry. Suddenly, everybody is shooting royal films. Yeah, royal fathers, royal kingdom, on royal people, royal slaves, royal this. Everybody is shooting royal.
Pardon me that I'm laughing. I just love the way you're expressing the royalty.
But that's the way they do it. Suddenly, everybody is shooting village film. This one boxer, this one fighter. It doesn't work like that. What it means is that you never had an idea of your own.
Wow.
But filmmakers are people that are brewed to bring out their idea, brewed to bring out concept, brewed to bring out initiatives on their own. That's the way filmmaker is trained.
Wow. So just bringing us to closing, I have just two more questions for you. One is, what is your advice for upcoming brand new stars, directors, producers, people that are just dreaming to get into this industry? You've been here and you've done what many filmmakers will call a dream. So you should be the best, one of the best people to give an advice to someone that is planning to get into this industry, or they are already there and trying to make it in the industry. What's your advice for them?
The first thing anybody who wants to come into the industry need to take into consideration is, do I really belong here?
Wow.
For me, when I was growing up, I was a fantastic footballer. I played so well that when I left my neighborhood, most people thought I had gone abroad to play professional football.
Were you playing on the street?
Everywhere. I played everywhere. But the point remains that I was never destined to be a footballer.
Wow.
I just know how to play football. And that's the way it is with a whole lot of persons. I know people that have been in the industry for years, and it's even difficult to even tell them, my brother, leave. You can't be here.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
It's funny that you call somebody and tell him you don't belong here.
That's why I'm laughing. How can you do that?
Like that? So if you want to come into the industry, the first thing you need to ask yourself is if you actually belong here.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Then the second one is if you think you can be here. Now, in that first and second question, what supersedes all of them is if you know what you're doing. For instance, if you're a bad actor, you should know. Don't wait for a director to tell you you're a bad actor. People don't come on set to learn acting. That's what I see these days.
Wow.
A producer will cast anybody across the road and say the director is good, he will teach him. Directors don't teach acting.
Wow.
It's like a football match. It's like a football team. The coach doesn't teach them football.
Correct.
First, you must know how to play football before you make the team. That's the first thing. You must know how to play football before you even make the team. What the coach does is show the team his formation. Say, this is the style I play. It's either 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, whatever they call it.
For people that knows football, they'll understand what you're talking about.
Yes. So the coach don't go teaching them, this is how you take corner kick, this is how you dribble people. No, you have to know those ones before you make the team.
Wow.
So that's what people do in the movies.
So your advice to any upcoming star, if I hear you clearly, is first, you need to know if you know what you're doing. Number two thing
can you
is,
act if you're coming to act?
If you're coming to act, and if you're coming to direct, can you direct? If you're a
If you're coming
producer,
to
can you
direct,
produce?
learn the ropes.
Okay. And then number two things you talked about is, do you belong here?
Yes.
And then the third one you said, do you think you can do it? You can be here.
Yes. Sometimes you belong somewhere, but your heart is not there because you have other passions that are taking your time.
I guess what you're saying is, if you're going to be in this industry, you just have to have complete, total love for the industry.
That's it.
And learn the know-how.
Because sometimes in the first 3 years of your practice, you don't make a dime.
You don't make a dime. That's correct. So in the low days, if the love for the industry will carry you through.
The passion, the understanding, the drive, those are the things that keep you.
Okay. Well said. One more question before I let you go. What is the next thing that you're working on right now, apart from Ziza that you just finished?
Honestly, I want to give a little more time to Ziza to see how we come out, because the way we shot the movie and the kind of noise both the cast and crew have made about the movie, I think we need to work hard. Lest we go, I don't know how to explain this.
I'm part of the cast and crew that was making noise. So thank you very much for reminding me that we're making noise.
Lest we disappoint our audience. So I'm really going to give it my all.
Okay.
In post-production to see what will come out of it. But the next project I have is a TV a series.
Okay.
That I'm going to be starting on Saturday for a Memi song.
Okay.
In Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great writer. I love her so much. Say me hi to her.
All right, I will.
Okay. Now, just a personal question I have for you. In your earlier statement, you said the market today is TV. Are you planning to, in the future, have like an internet TV where you sell your movies and other people's movies?
You see, the good thing about the internet that the internet is like a supermarket.
Okay.
A shopping mall rather.
Okay. Where
anybody can, once you have enough funds to get a stall, you can display your wares.
Okay.
As people come into the mall, they walk into your store, they buy whatever they want. That's the way the internet is.
Okay.
So anybody can actually open an internet store where you place your movies, even if you don't sell for any other person, you just sell your own movies.
Okay.
If you have good movies that will attract traffic, then you're fine. So definitely it's not just me. That's what everybody should be looking out for.
Okay.
You make a film, you look, if you don't have one, you look for an internet marketer that can take your film and place it on the internet. That way you reach a wider audience, and definitely a wider audience means wider purse.
Okay, I guess you didn't answer the question directly, but indirectly I get what you're saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, yes, I intend to. And
okay.
Yeah, again, that's what everybody should be looking out for. The internet is where the market is at this point.
Okay.
And there are a number of internet buyers around who you can make movies and sell to them.
Okay.
And then they further sell it on the internet, like you sell your movies to marketers who sell on VCD and DVD.
Yes, okay.
So, yeah, so it's an open market.
Okay. Perfect. So what's your message to the fan, to your fan in particular?
Trust me, the only thing I tell my fans is that without them, there wouldn't be anybody. You know, it's because they see our movies, that's the reason we're anything. If I make movies and nobody sees it, maybe I would have remained in my village. in one farm. So I hold my fans in high esteem. I like it more when they criticize my movie and say something that don't sound happy. It keeps me going, making me know that yes, people are concerned about what I show them. So it makes me, it keeps me standing when next I'm taking on another project, making sure no stone is left unturned, that everything comes out near perfect, if not perfect. So I love my fans, and then I will always love them.
Well, thank you very much. It's been very, very wonderful talking with you, and we look forward to following up things that you're doing, and coming back to our audience again to talk to them about things that you're doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ikechukwu Onyeka.
Thank you very much. I count this as a privilege. Thank you.
You are welcome.
All right. Bye.